You've started the Daytona 25 times, won 2, of course, championships there, and unfortunately, some bad luck. What happened?
I was racing toward making my 26th start in this great race and made a mistake coming off the second turn and spun around and got in the outside wall, and it took away my chance to win. A little bit later in that same race, Danica Patrick wrecked in the same spot, so most all the sporting world is talking about Danica's crash. Got old Mike off the hook a little bit.
Let's talk a little about Tony Stewart and Carl Edwards. Of course, they just had the closest championship finishes in all of sports practically. So how much momentum do you think in fan interest, shall I say, do you think that's going to carry through the new season?
Well, they picked up right where they left off. Carl wins the pole. Tony wins his qualifying race. They'll pretty much start bumper to bumper on Sunday, and both no reason why either one of those drivers couldn't win the championship or couldn't win the 500.
No question. Carl Edwards, he finished second in the 500 last year. Tony Stewart's won everything you can run here except the Daytona 500, and they've been fast ever since they unloaded a few days ago.
With Tony winning the championship last year, do you think the ending of Jimmy Johnson's winning streak is a good thing for NASCAR overall, or how do you think Jimmy's going to pair up this year?
Well, if the Yankees win every year, what happens in New York? I think it's very much the same with Jimmy Johnson's 5 straight championships. Now Tony has won. Carl Edwards and the Fords were so close. Certainly, yes, it brings added interest into the sport.
All right, let's talk about Danica Patrick. She's making her debut at the Daytona 500 this weekend. And, of course, the fans love her. She's in the news all the time. We always talk about her, but she hasn't really won anything. So how do you think she's going to pair up here?
I tell you, we're so glad to have her over here. When you look at what she's tried to do the last 2 years, that would have been tough for any race car driver to do. Full-time Indy cars, part-time in the Nationwide Series. Now she's full-time NASCAR. She's actually going to run for the championship driving for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the Nationwide Series. We got her for 10 races in the Sprint Cup. I think she's going to be competitive here on Sunday, even though she's going to a backup car.
All right, top 3. You think you're going to win the championship. Who do you guess?
My guess is Tony Stewart will repeat.
I think Tony Stewart's going to be a player, but I think Carl Edwards, he's going to figure out how to marry 2008 when he won 9 races and finished second in the points with last year when he was a model of consistency, finished second. He's going to marry those two together. I think he'll be a player again this year.
I'd like to either see Jeff Gordon finally win his 5th championship or Carl Edwards get his 1st.
All right, what about any of the drivers that are kind of under the radar now? Anyone in particular, maybe Casey Kane, who you think is going to pull ahead?
I love Casey Kane. I love the way he races. I love his passion for the sport. He's with a new team that has a star lineup of drivers, really talented guys, obviously, that he's going to get to race with in 2012. I think this is his best opportunity ever to race for a championship, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him right up there in the thick of things when we get to Miami at the end of the year.
Kyle Busch gets his temper under control, and he contends for the championship.
That Kyle Busch, yeah, it's that temper that he has, and he's very talented. When is he going to take home a cup?
Well, so much talent and yet so much temper. All he needs to do is mature. We know. We saw last Saturday night in the shootout, he can flat drive a race car.
He needs to keep his cup tipped up. Sometimes it tips over.
Best of luck to y'all on Sunday. Again, don't forget to tune in to Fox 5 for the Daytona 500.
Again, you can watch